If you see these two arrows coming in here down on the bottom left, this is where the external world enters into each and every one of us. All the stimulus, the information, the interactions, everything has to come through these two things to get inside of us. And these two things are mindset and perception. And this is where this gets really, really interesting. And again, well, let's do a little synthesis here. Dr. Sweeney was talking. He told us, and I absolutely agree, that our ability to influence another person is directly related to what? The amount of trust they have in us, okay? That's where the mindset piece comes in. A person's mindset is their general overall attitude. It can be about their job, it can be about their car, it can be about you. If they work with you or they report to you or whatever, every person you interact with on a regular basis has a mindset about you. Now let me ask you this question. Who has primary responsibility for having created that mindset about you? You do. Okay? So if you find yourself in a situation, maybe you're a supervisor or a manager, and you just can't figure out why people aren't coming to you with information. Where you need to start looking for an answer to that question is looking in the mirror. Because there's some reason people have that mindset about you. Okay? So mindset is general overall attitude. If that's true, then what's perception? The way you see things, okay? So perception is about a specific thing. At a specific point in time, perception is very, very fickle. One of the examples I like to use real quickly, and I'm not going to go through the whole scenario because we don't have time, but let's just say that you work for a company, you've never gotten a bonus before. A company has a really great year, February comes around, and they say, man, we had a great year last year, thank you very much. Here's a 10% bonus, 10% of your gross pay, here's a check. How do you feel about that? Perception, very, very high, very positive. Awesome, I love this. This is money from nowhere. I'm going to go out and buy my bass boat, right? Whatever it is, okay? So let's say that happens for 2, 3, 4 years in a row. Year number 5, the company doesn't have a really great year, and February comes around, you only get a 5% bonus. Yeah, what the heck? I'm going to go work somewhere else. And yet, prior to this 5 years, you never got a bonus before in your life, but now it's like, that's a good example of perception. Very fickle. Human beings, generally, we're all pretty much the same about that, okay? Now, in my opinion, perception is best exemplified in nature by the earthworm. It's a perfect example of perception. Because you see, to an earthworm, a long, hard day of digging in the cold, hard ground is much more relaxing than going fishing. That's a great example of perception right there. Now, here's something else that's fundamentally important to remember. My perception of reality is my reality. Your perception of reality is your reality. And quite honestly, as influencers, this is where we screw it all up. Because here's the natural human tendency. If my perception of reality is different than your perception of reality, I'm obviously right and you're obviously wrong. Okay? Now, if I'm approaching you from that perspective, you can tell, and that immediately sets up what's called a power struggle. As soon as you go into power struggle space, forget about influencing them. This is why the left side of the aisle in Congress cannot have a sane conversation with the right side of the aisle in Congress. Because we're obviously right and they're obviously totally screwed up. And both sides feel the same about the other side. What are the things we're never supposed to talk about in social situations in the United States? Religion and politics, right? Because we have strong feelings about those. We get emotional about them, and by golly, my way is the right way, and you're screwed up, you think anything different. So we just stay away from those conversations. If you want to influence, you must get that out of the equation. This is not about right and wrong. This is about a win-win situation where I know if I can influence this behavior in you, you're going to win and I'm going to win and we're all going to win. Okay? That's very important. The other piece of this is, because my perception of reality is in fact my reality, I will go out of my way to prove to you that I'm right and you're wrong. And I've got a little video clip to demonstrate this I think you'll enjoy.
I figure 75% to you, Pa and Ma, and 25% divided between the 5 of us. Gida, Crowbar, myself, Tom, and the baby. That makes 5% for each one of us.
Billy, you're cheating yourself. If there's 25% divided among the 5 of you, that's 14% apiece.
Oh, no, listen, Pa. I wouldn't cheat you. You know I wouldn't. Now, look here. I'll show you. Let me rub this out here. And now, 25 divided by 5 is 5. You see, 5 won't go into 2, will it? No. But 5 goes into 25 5 times, you see?
No, you're wrong, Billy. Now, I'm a pretty good mathematician. Now, 5 into 25... 5 won't go into 2, will it?
No.
But 5 goes into 5 once. Now, we didn't use the 2 before, so we'll bring it down here. Now, 5 into 20 goes 4 times. There you are. 5 into 25, 14.
No, look, Pa. Let me prove it to you now by multiplication. 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25.
Really, I'm surprised you're learning.
Huh?
I'm surprised that you're learning. Now I'll show you. 5 times 14 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5. 25. That's it.
No. Look, Ma. Look, you're wrong there because I'll prove it to you. We'll put down 5 14s here. 14. There. Now I'll prove to you by addition that 5 14s is not 25. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There you are. Better brush up, Billy. I don't want to see you boys cheated.
Now here's another important little piece of insight for you directly related to this video. How many degreed engineers do we have in the room? Can I see a show of hands? All right, for those of you who did not raise your hands, the next time you happen to be involved in something and an engineer is using a calculation to prove something to you, but it just doesn't seem right, remember this video right here, okay? All right, so that's perception. So, inside of us, we have thoughts. Some of those thoughts generate feelings. Feelings manifest as behaviors. Behaviors determine results. In order for the outside world to get in, it has to go through our mindset and our perception. If you want to influence me, you have to get through my mindset and my perception. If I want to influence you, I need to get through your mindset and your perception. Now, let me ask you this. People writing that down, I'll leave it up there. Sorry about that. Okay. What is going to influence me more? The actions you take or the words you speak? The actions you take. Have you ever heard that phrase before, your actions are screaming so loudly above your head I can't hear a word you're saying? When our actions equal our words, there's a C word for that. What's the word? Congruent, okay? Again, that's maybe a 63-cent word, something like that. All right, congruence, very, very important. If our actions don't equal our words, what are we called? A hypocrite. That's one of the worst things you can be called, by the way, is a hypocrite. And it's one of the worst things, honestly, that you can be. So you want to make sure that your actions equal your words. Now, here's